love God. But you know, some people, when they fail miserably and it's revealed that they're not as good as they thought they were, they live there for the rest of their life. They never forgive themselves. They never transfer their confidence to God like Peter did. Because they failed and because they weren't who they thought they were, they live at that altar of who I was. And they never allow God to deliver them. And they never allow God to pivot them. Sometimes you have to pivot. I teach my children about this all the time. Because in life, you're going to have a plan. But let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, the plan you have now is going to fail. You need to learn how to maneuver past failure. You need to learn how to maneuver out of self-disappointment. You need to learn how to maneuver away from these things. And the only person that can help you to maneuver away from that is God. You have to learn how to pivot. You know, in basketball, you got to learn how to pivot. You got a pivot foot. You dribble. They make me laugh because I teach them how to play basketball, and when they in school, they're talking about they just hate because none of the kids know how to play. All they do is, you know how it is when you're young, just run around trying to grab the ball, running with the ball. Everybody standing around calling your name when you got the ball. It's the same way. They tell me about it all the time. But in basketball, you know that you dribble with that ball. Once you pick that ball up, you can't put it back down again. You can't dribble again. Either you're going to shoot or pass. But you have a pivot foot. You have one foot that's planted in the ground. And you can maneuver, as long as you keep that foot down, you can turn different angles as long as that foot doesn't come up. That's your pivot foot. So sometimes, even though you pick the ball up and you feel stuck, you can turn this way, you can turn back. You still have options, in other words. And sometimes failure will get your foot stuck in the ground in a place. But if you can still learn how to use your pivot, you can still be victorious. But if you just stay there at that altar of failure, you're going to die there. Peter came to the end of himself because he failed. It would have been normal for him to just walk away. And when they said Jesus rose from the dead, for him to completely deny that and just keep thinking about this moment. Just keep replaying it in his mind over and over again. If Jesus done rose from the dead, but no, I'm stuck over here. Jesus done rose from the dead, but I'm stuck over here still thinking about when I failed. When he already gave me deliverance because he rose from the dead, when it's all right now. Y'all following me? Thinking about things that happened 15 years ago. You still there. You don't even know how much time has passed. Because you're still living back there. This is important. Because this is why people get stuck in depression. Because they live there. They worship at the altar of their failure. Not realizing that God ordained that failure for you. Don't you know God ordained that failure for Peter? That's why he predicted it. Because he let him know beforehand he was going to do this. It was God. Some of our failure was God ordained. Some of our failure was a God ordained moment to pivot us to learn how to realize that you can do nothing within yourself. That's the only way.